Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today for this video, I'm going to try showing you guys probably the easiest and the fastest way to make your first $1 million in the market. We're going to be trying mirroring the S&P 500. Well, we're not going to try. We are going to be mirroring the S&P 500, right? So what tends to happen with a lot of people, especially beginner investors, is that they're going to try individually picking stocks, right? It's more exciting, it's more fun, right? We're going to try picking the Teslas, the Ubers, the all the bigger names that people think they're gonna be making a lot of money on, and some of them will, some of them won't, right? But a lot of people tend to lose money in the market, and the biggest issue is that they don't know what they're investing in, right? So if someone like me or you, as a beginning investor, we don't know what we're doing and we're just getting in the market, what would be the best strategy to make our first $1 million? Well, we know that the whole market every 10 years or so the whole market doubles in value, right? As you can see with the thread here, the trend here, this is following the S&P 500, right? The S&P 500 is a fund, it's an index fund that follows the 500 of the best companies that America offers, right? So these companies are representing what America as an economy is, and this value usually doubles every between 8 to 12 years. So what tends to happen with a lot of people who get into investing is that they want to pick these individual stocks, right? The Teslas, the Ubers, but it doesn't always work, right? So the best and the easiest way to make your first $1 million in the market is to invest in the S&P 500. The S&P 500, like I said, it's the index that follows America's economy, and since America's economy doubles every about 10 years, well, we know that our money that we're going to be putting in the S&P 500 is also going to double. Now, the issue comes with the fact that the S&P 500 is almost $2,500 after this crash and was at about $3,300, right, on its peak. Most people can't afford it, right? Especially us Canadians over here. We have to first of all pay taxes on those holdings. Then we have a certain the conversion rate on that money too is pretty high. So we have to try to find a way to afford and get into the S&P 500 index without having to pay this big amount, right? That's when VOO comes in, right? It's an ETF, so it's an electronic traded fund that Vanguard made that tracks the S&P 500. This is almost identical to the S&P 500. It's gonna mirror it almost exactly the same, and that's why we want to invest in this, right? So it's a much cheaper price to get in. So it's 228 USD, and most people can afford that, right? Let's say you save up $1,000 for your first investment. Well, there you go. But still, with VOO, there's still another issue. For us Canadians, we have to pay certain taxes if we buy directly a an American stock, right? Even in a TFSA, but there's ways that we can kind of go around that, right? There's a certain stock here called VFV, right? VFV is another. It's a proxy ETF, right? So what this proxy is gonna do is that they're only holding. So this ETF's holding is VOO. The only stock that they have in this ticker, so this company, basically, we can think of it that way, uh, has the stock VOO inside, and VOO will tracks the S&P 500. So $62.47 is much easier for people to start investing, right? If you can just buy one share a month, well, hey, you're already off to a great start. And we're gonna try doing the math behind all of this, right? So everything I told you guys about the S&P 500, well, I have to show you guys proof behind it too, right? So let's say you, as a person, has saved up $1,000, right? So that's gonna be your initial investment, and we'll do this off the point of view of a young guy, right? So every week, let's say he's a student and he's gonna be a student for the rest of his life. So for 45 years, he's gonna be a student and he's working a student job. And let's say after working his maximum shifts a week that he can with school, he's able to save $150 a month. $150 a month is honestly very doable by most students, kids, adults, anyone, right? And $1,000 saved up is you can easily manage it if you try, right? And so since we know that every 10 years the market doubles, well, that's 10% a year. So for the interest rate, well, the more realistic number is 9.8%. So we're going to go with that, right? So the interest rate that you're going to be getting on your money is 9.8%. And that is going to be compounded yearly, once a year. So once a year, you're getting 10% on your money every year. And we're going to let this guy grow. Let's say you want to retire at the age of 65, how a lot of people do. Well, with your initial investment of $1,000, you keep adding in $150 monthly, and you have an interest rate of almost 10% on your money. Well, if you calculate it, you're gonna end with $1.3 million. $1.3 million total made at the age of 65 seems like a lot of money, right? But this all works if you are young enough, right? If you have the chance to watch this video when you are young enough. And while investing, time is really on your side, right? Let's say if you were someone who was making, who was able to even at $350 in addition a month towards this, and let's say you had a much smaller, right? You had 15 years less, but you're adding so much more money, you still would not make it to $1 million, and that's fine, right? A couple more years, then you will make it to $1 million. But it just goes to show you how time is really on your side when you're investing, right? You don't want to make the mistake of blowing all your money, of spending all your cash when you're getting your paycheck, when you can now start building your foundation to your first $1 million in life, right? And if you start young enough, you can easily make it to $1 million by the age of 30, 35, right? If you just keep investing. Of course, I would never tell somebody to put all of their funds into the S&P 500, diversifying. Even though it is very well diversified, I would still suggest you buy other things, other stocks, maybe individual stocks for some more concentrated growth, or some emerging market ETFs. Different types of investments, right? But that comes with time. But as your first investment, I believe that everybody should truly invest in the S&P 500 and just let it run its course over the long term. We know that people like Warren Buffett really praise the S&P 500, and he's even said after he passes away, he wants his family to completely put all their money into, well, the S&P 500 fund, because time and time, because as much as we this might be a boring investment, we know that time after time again, the S&P 500 has made so many millionaires. It has made so many people money, and it is probably the best way to invest. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching this video, and stay tuned for the next one.